19. 19 quizzes and counting. Welcome back, everybody, to the Two Fellas Online Pub Quiz, and welcome to all those who are new. Yes, welcome back, everybody. Online for another week of quizzing. This is number 19 of lockdown, and as I said with number 17, I'm running out of things to say in this introduction. So, welcome back, everybody, and hello to all the new teams. For new teams which are joining us tonight, I know we've already got 4 new pub quiz virgins from Denmark joining us this evening. How this pub quiz will work is we've got 4 rounds. We begin with our easier round. Then following on from that, our theme round. Our theme round this week is on animation. Then on to our music round. And then following up in the end with our harder round. For all those teams which are new, if you check in the description below the video, you should see there are 4 links, one for each round. They'll gradually open up as the quiz goes on. So if you click on round 1 now, it will take you to an answer form. In that answer form, this goes for new teams as well as all of our returning teams, is what you need to do is enter your team name there. Sounds simple, but you need to enter it exactly the same throughout the entirety of the pub quiz. That's to make our marker, one of the 2 fellas, Mike, life a little bit easier, and it means also at the end we can get the scores to you as quickly as possible. Because we are one of the few quizzes online that we like to grade our quizzes. We want to keep a little air of mystery to it, and we also want a bit of excitement as to who is going to win. So with that, what we're going to have a look at is what happened last week. And last week we had 4 teams vying for 3rd place. They were Team Steve, Greasy Gabby and the Jizzers, Fancy Jams, and 42 Gallons of Beer and Cabbage were all vying for 3rd place on 28 points, whilst in 2nd place Empty Vessels on 28.5. But our resident winners, House Martins, the team to beat, once again took the crown, standing proud upon their perch with 29.5 points. Which I think makes it 3 weeks in the trot that the House Martins have won. So, hopefully this evening, for all those playing who aren't the House Martins, you'll have a chance to knock them off of that perch. For the House Martins, they've got the higher ground to defend. Welcome to everybody who are typing into the chat. Nice to see some familiar names popping up there. Hi, Peter. We'll get going very, very shortly. Just give chance for people to get their drinks and sit down, ready to go. I hope everybody had a lovely week. Hello, Marcus. Coming straight in there with the dorks. And I say we'll get going very, very shortly and try and figure out who is a quizzical champion. My questions up here. For all those that are new, the questions will be on the screen as we go through. No cheating. Do not Google. Do not Yahoo. Do not ask Jeeves. It's all in the name of fun. So if you cheat and win, it's a hollow victory for yourselves. So, no cheating. Team size is 8. If you enjoy the pub quiz as we're going along, please feel free to donate to keeping the two fellas going so that they can be there to serve you beer and pizza come the opening of restrictions once more. You can do that on PayPal with the address donate@twofellas.beer. And if you live within Berlin, you can also order with the fellas with the pre-order by going to twofellas.beer and putting your order into the website. And then somebody in the bar will confirm it, and you can choose pickup time. Right. Bing. Right, without further ado, let's get on with the questions. So round 1, as I said, is our easier round. Our easier round is so cleverly titled because it is easier than the hard round, which is the harder round. Oh, miraculous, hey? So round 1, question 1. By what stage name was Tim Bergling known? So by what stage name was Tim Bergling known? So make sure you've got your answer papers open. If you've entered your team name, I suggest you copy and paste that into an empty browser field or a notepad so that you can paste it and it will remain the same throughout the quiz. That'll make, say, Mike's job that little bit easier. So go to that round 1 link, type in your name, and then answer by what stage name was Tim Bergling known. If you miss a question, you can always hover. You can always hover your mouse below the video along the red line, and you'll see a little preview, so you can go back and see questions if you've missed them or you want to read them again. When the round is finished, I will announce at the end of the round the time by which your answers have to be submitted by. If you do not submit them within that time, they will not be marked. This is to try and progress the quiz so we don't finish too late and I can go to sleep. So question 1 is, by what stage name was Tim Bergling known? Let's move on to question 2. Which US city has the nickname the Mile High City? So which US city has the nickname the Mile High City? That's your question 2. Technically, Dylan, yes, but let's not get too technical here. Depends your interpretation of was, to which context. So question 2, which US city has the nickname the Mile High City? All right, let's move on to question 3. Which author counts The Road from 2006, No Country for Old Men from 2005, and Suttree, I think, from 1979 amongst their works? So which author counts The Road and No Country for Old Men and Suttree amongst their works? Who authored those books? That's your question 3. Question 3. Which author counts The Road, No Country for Old Men, and Suttree amongst their works? On to question 4. Which Latin American nation's motto is fatherland or death? So, which Latin American nation's motto is fatherland or death? Probably inspired by the Eddie Izzard sketch of Cake or Death. It's the easier round, not a codfish. Try and break it down. Think about what sort of country may have had reason to have a motto, something like fatherland or death. I'll give you a clue that. No, I won't. No, I won't give you that clue. I'm not sure of it. So, which Latin American nation's motto is fatherland or death? Certainly a country I'd like to go to. Question 4. Which Latin American nation's motto is fatherland or death? Now on to question 5. Which was the first film to be recognized as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? So, which was the first film to be recognized as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Its success effectively spawned the creation of that cinematic universe. Maybe I did. All you have to do with this one is trace back, think about which characters are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films and which one of those had the first film released. That's all you have to do for this one. Just trace it back. I think it was 2007. Pretty sure I was in my first year of university when it came out. So question 5, which was the first film to be recognized as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? On to 6. Is it 2008? I thought it was 2007. Anyway, 6. Botany is the study of what life form? So botany is the study of what life form? What is botany the study of is also an easier way to word that. So botany is the study of what? So what is botany the study of? That's 6. On to 7. Name the star constellation that the male figure in the center represents. I'm going to make that bigger. There we go. Name the star constellation that the male figure in the center represents. That's your question 7. On to question 8. What is the number of the parking spot covered by the car? Work it out from the sequence there. So what is the number of the parking spot covered by the car? My clue here is don't overthink this one. Question A, what is the number of the parking spot covered by the car? Let's go on to question 9. Which record label did Dr. Dre, Suge Knight, the DOC, and Dick Griffey found? So which record label did Dr. Dre, Suge Knight, the DOC, and Dick Griffey come together to found? That is your question 9. So which record label did Dr. Dre, Suge Knight, the DOC, and Dick Griffey found is question 9. And on to the final question in the round, question 10, which is, around the year 1440, who invented the printing press in Europe? So around the year 1440, who invented the printing press in Europe? And those are your 10 questions for round 1. You have until 25 to the hour. I will write that in the chat below. You have until 25 minutes to the hour to get your answers in. Make sure you click submit by 2035. Suzanne says this is definitely the hard one, but I think that's just lulling everybody else into a false sense of security for how well they've probably done in round 1. So get your answers in by 2035. So 6 minutes to get your answers in. Remember, if you've missed a question and you want more time to think about it, you can always scroll along the bottom red bar and go back in the video, but make sure you get your answers in by 2035 and make sure you catch up with that point, otherwise you miss the beginning of the next round. Hi, body mass index. You've got 5 minutes to catch up. Four minutes to get your answers in. Three minutes. Use this time now. Once you've clicked submit, get yourself another drink. Make yourself comfortable. And get ready for our theme round that's coming up very shortly, which is the animation round. Okay, really start thinking now about hitting submit. All right, click submit now. Otherwise, you'll miss your chance. Click submit on your answer paper now. And then very shortly, we're going to get on with the answers for that round. Okay, if you haven't clicked submit now, you've missed out. Because we are now going to go on to the answers for round 1. So the answers for round 1 are as follows. Question 1 was, by what stage name was Tim Bergling known? And that is Avicii. 2 was that the US city with the nickname the Mile High City is Denver, Colorado. 3, it was Cormac McCarthy that wrote The Road, which was made into a film starring Viggo Mortensen. No Country for Old Men, which was made into a film by the Coen brothers. And also Suttery from 1979. 4, the Latin American nation's the motto is Fatherland or Death, is Cuba. Probably something to do with the whole revolution way back in the middle of the last century. 5, the first film that was to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe was Iron Man. The best of the Marvel Cinematic Universe by far. 6, botany is the study of plants, a botanist, botany, etc. 7, the star constellation that is depicted here by the man is Orion. You probably see the stars in there. There you go. There's Orion's belt at the center as well. Oh, I want to extend that bit too far. I can't find the box to bring it back down. Weep. Then we had 8 was, what is the number of the parking spot covered by the car? It was 87. Just gonna leave that there. Wait for the hate to come in. Uh, 9. The record label that Dr. Dre, Surge Knight, the DOC, and Dick Griffey found was Death Row Records. Its symbol was an electric chair. And 10, it was Johannes Gutenberg that invented in Europe the printing press. And it's important to say because many other nations before, or areas before Europe had it, most notably the Koreans. So those are your answers for round 1, the easier round. Now we move on to round 2. Round 2, as I said, and if you've been following on Instagram, the two fellas, you should know is animation, which should have given you plenty of time to read through the Wikipedia article. So, round 2, animation. The frieze of which building held in the British Museum is claimed to show a coherent animation if the figures are shot frame by frame? The frieze of which building, so think which frieze is held controversially by the British Museum, is claimed to show a coherent animation if the figures are shot frame by frame? I see. Okay. Okay. I get you unbecanned. That's fine. So the frieze of which building held in the British Museum is claimed to show a coherent animation of the figures are shot frame by frame. On to question 2. Which famous Liverpool pop quartet had an animated television series lasting 39 episodes? Don't think I knew this existed until researching for this round. So which famous Liverpool pop quartet had an animated television series lasting 39 episodes? And it's not Flock of Seagulls. Although I think only the guitarist from Flock of Seagulls was from Liverpool. Question 2. Which famous Liverpool pop quartet had an animated television series lasting 39 episodes? Now, question 3. With a worldwide gross of over 1.6 billion US dollars, what is the highest grossing animated film of all time? So, with a worldwide gross of over 1.6 billion US dollars, what is the highest grossing animated film of all time? So question 3. With a worldwide gross of 1.6 billion US dollars, what is the highest grossing animated film of all time? 4. In 2012, I put the apostrophe and the S in the wrong place before somebody, Marcus, pops up. In 2012, which EU's nation's new passport doubled as a flipbook of a walking moose? So in 2012, which EU nation's new passport doubled as a flipbook of a walking moose? Think about which nations have moose. Is the plural of moose moose? I do, Marcus. Yes, thanks for pointing out. The answer to Stab B's question is remove the or. I mean, by animated is just as a generic term, animated. It could involve many different types of things. But predominantly it's all in... No, it just means many different things, the actual word animation. Except reanimation. We're not going into the whole dead body coming back to life thing. So question 4, in 2012, which EU nation's new passport doubled as a flipbook of a walking moose? 5. Which 2010 Disney film originally had the title Rapunzel before it was changed ahead of release? Which 2010 Disney film originally had the title Rapunzel before it was changed ahead of release? Apparently, this caused quite some concern with the opinion pieces of The Guardian. Say opinion pieces of The Guardian. Be funny if The Guardian printed any news. So, which 2010 Disney film originally had the title Rapunzel before it was changed ahead of release? Actually, I quite enjoy this film. It was a blend of traditional animation and CGI as well. So it was a bit of both. In its style, it was a bit of a precursor to Frozen. I mean, it depends how the question would be worded. If a film is partly animated, but partly not, can it count as an animated film? Well, it's got animation in it. The theme round title is not animated films, it's animation. So if there's part, for example, Space Jam would be still a film with animation in it. Space Jam, Who Framed Roger Rabbit are all well, an animated film would then... All right, moving on. Question 6. In the Flintstones, or in German Feuerstein, animations, what are the names of Fred Flintstone's and Barney Rubble's respective partners? Well, Space Jam would be a hybrid. I'm not sure if it counts solely as a. So 6 in Flintstones animations, what are the names of Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble's respective partners? That's 6. 7. Which famous animation studios would you find in Emeryville, California? So, which famous animation studios would you find in Emeryville, California? You don't fucking clap so confident that they're just throwing answers away this week. All right. Which famous animation studios would you find in Emeryville, California? That is your question 7. Question 8. Which world-renowned animation studio takes its name from the Libyan Arabic word meaning hot desert wind? Good point, Michael. Good point. So, which world-renowned animation studio takes its name from the Libyan Arabic word meaning hot desert wind? So which world-renowned animation studio takes its name from the Libyan Arabic word meaning hot desert wind? As your question 8. Question 9. In traditional animation, what name is given to the camera apparatus where multiple layers pass beneath a camera at different speeds to create a sense of parallax or depth? This technique was used in Snow White, Bambi, Alice in Wonderland, and many other animated films. So in traditional animation, what name is given to the camera apparatus where multiple layers pass beneath a camera at different speeds to create a sense of parallax or depth? And finally, question 10. What is the name of the animated web series that uses the multiplayer Halo video game mode to create its footage? It's now available on Netflix, also in some countries. So what is the name of the animated web series that uses the multiplayer Halo video game mode to create its footage? All right, so those are your questions. Have your answers in by 5 past the hour. Mike says average score in round 1, 6.9, so it wasn't as hard as Suze was making out to be then, I guess. Unless the beer and cabbage struggled. We'll find out. So you've got 6 minutes to get your answers in. I myself am going to take a quick break. So use this time to get your answers submitted or refill your drinks. I'll be back in a second. You can also revisit your any questions you may have missed again by sliding across the bottom of the video. All right, less than 2 minutes to get your answers in, so hurry up and click submit. All right, answers should all be in now. So, theme round answers. As Mike gets ready to mark away, the answers will lock. So, the answers ready for all the fallout. The frieze of the Parthenon that is held in the British Museum is claimed to show the coherent animation of its figures if they were to be shot frame by frame. 2, the famous Liverpool pop quartet that had an animated television series lasting 39 episodes was the Beatles. With a worldwide gross of over 1.6 billion US dollars, what is the highest grossing animated film of all time? It's The Lion King from 2019 because of its photorealistic animation. It's all animated, but it's photorealistic animation. For the 2012 passport is from Finland that had a moose walking on it if you flipped it. The Disney film from 2010 that had the title Rapunzel was changed to Tangled, although I did realize I forgot to look in German. It's still called Rapunzel in German, but with a suffix as well. 6, the partners of Barney and Fred of Wilma and Betty, as Peter so kindly told us all. The famous animation studios that you find in Emeryville, California is Pixar. The world-renowned animation studio that takes its name from the Libyan Arabic word meaning hot desert wind is Studio Ghibli. Meaning they chose it because they were going to come into the animation world like a hot desert wind and breathe new air into it. 9, the type of camera that uses multiple layers is simply a multiplane camera. And there it is in German as well, a multiplane camera. And 10, the name of the animated web series that uses the multiplayer Halo video game mode to create its footage is the classic Red vs. Blue. I have to say is available on Netflix, Amazon, and many other things now. It's what launched Rooster Teeth. So there we go. Now, we are going to go now we're going to go on to our music round. The music round, if you open up the round 3 link. Enter your team name exactly as you have been doing for the previous 2 rounds. Your music round is music from movies. So it's music that has been created for movies, whether it features as a soundtrack or it features within the movie itself. There are 10. There are 10 tracks to name. As we go through, you will hear them one by one, and at the end of the 10th, you get to hear them once again. All you have to tell me is which film does the music come from in its original form. Bearing in mind, this is avoiding copyright, so this is all wonderful covers. At the end of the quiz, if you've liked any of them, I will post the links to all of the videos that have been featured, so you can follow them up. So let's get on with it. Music round. For your enjoyment.
Dai, ja.
So you get to hear them all again.
Dai, ja.
Flash! Ah! Master of the universe! Flash!
Well, there we go. Sorry, I had a little bit of a snooze there towards the end. Those are your 10 songs. I don't think you need that long to have to debate those and get those in. So I will give you just until 28 minutes pass. You've got 4 minutes then. 4 minutes. So, hope you enjoyed that round. Thought I'd throw another doodle sack in there. There's a torturous bag of screaming cats squeezed beneath an elbow. It's one of the finest horrors of instruments that have ever been created. Don't hit the camera with the camera's very sensitive. It likes to just turn off. It doesn't come back on.
I'm not hitting it. Sorry.
Only steel drum covers. That would be an interesting round. have a Grumpy Geek, have you been practicing your limericks? Because no, it doesn't. The dog's been running on the floor with her tongue out. Yeah.
Catch yourself there.
Yeah. All right, you've got less than a minute to get your answers submitted, so click submit, and then we'll go through the answers. I probably forgot to update the sheet link from last week.
Where's your bow gone?
I think you mean what limerick field in the question thingy? It doesn't exist. I didn't know it was there. It's gone. All right, answers should be in. So let's go through. I'm not going to play the music round again because it would just take too bloody long. So let's go through the answers and then we'll get on with the final round of the quiz. So the first track you heard, played by a girl playing violin. I've never heard somebody sound like they're playing the violin as if it was recorded and played in reverse. But that was Jurassic Park. Then we had 8 Mile. The next one, played on the doodle sack, was concerning hobbits from Lord of the Rings. The actual nice one of this round was American Beauty. Then came Beauty and the Beast, in possibly the most horrendous video I've seen for a music video. I will post a link at the end of the quiz for that. Then we had Chariots of Fire, followed by the solo piano was Lawrence of Arabia. Then the solo man, his guitar, and then doing all the other things with his voice, was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Then we had the music from Terminator 2. If you put Terminator, I'm going to be kind and allowing you have the point. And then for the final one, it was Tenacious D performing the theme from Flash Gordon. So that makes up your music round for this week's quiz. So let's move on now with the harder round and see how you all do on this one. So the harder round. Let's have a look. Question 1 of the hard round. As the crow flies, which is closer to Berlin? Bern in Switzerland or Stockholm in Sweden? So as the crow flies, which is closer to Berlin? Bern in Switzerland or Stockholm in Sweden? Nice and easy. A coconut-laden crow. Are you all presuming here that a crow is actually a bird? So as the crow flies, which is closer to Berlin, Bern in Switzerland or Stockholm in Sweden? Question 2. On the 13th of January 1898, which famous letter did the French newspaper Le Aura publish? For the full point, I want the writer and the title of the letter. So on the 13th of January 1898, which famous letter did the French newspaper Le Aura, sorry, not very good at French, publish? Full point is for the writer and the title of the letter. The film was made with the same title as the letter just a few years ago, I think directed by Roman Polanski. So question 2 is on the 13th of January 1898, which famous letter did the French newspaper Le Aura publish? Full point, writer and title is your question 2. On to question 3. The new Netflix film, The Dig, concerns itself with the archaeological discovery of which famous Anglo-Saxon site? So the new Netflix film, The Dig, concerns itself with the archaeological discovery of which famous Anglo-Saxon site? I think the film is starring Ralph Fiennes and that lady who's married to the man from Mumford and Sons. Carrie something? Mulligan? Carrie Mulligan? Thank you, Carrie Mulligan. So question 3 is the new Netflix film The Dig concerns itself with the archaeological discovery of which famous Anglo-Saxon site? On to question 4. Everybody's favourite. A train sets off at 2 p.m. at the speed of 70 kilometers per hour. Another train sets off at 3:30 p.m. in the same direction at the rate of 85 kilometers per hour. At what time will the trains meet? That is an appalling last sentence. I'm sorry for that. At what time the trains will meet? It's like I translated it from something. At what time will the trains meet? Marcus, shush. I also like these questions for the fact that it's always like these trains. They have instantaneous speed. They're from 0 to 70 kilometers per hour instantaneously. Yes, from the same point. Well, British Rail, it just wouldn't run. British Rail is a myth. It doesn't exist. So do your maths. A train sets off at 2 p.m. at the speed of 70 kilometers per hour. Another train sets off at 3:30 p.m. in the same direction from the same point at the rate of 85 kilometers per hour. At what time the trains will meet? I know. All right, so you've had plenty of time to make notes on that, so we'll move on with question 5. Question 5. Hansen's disease is more commonly known by which name? Hansen's disease is more commonly known by which name? So Hansen's disease is more commonly known by which name is your question 5. Question 6. In 1947, which fashion designer unveiled a new line that went down in history as New Look, when the editor-in-chief of Harper's Bazaar exclaimed, "It's such a new look." It also revived the French fashion industry. So in 1947, which fashion designer unveiled a new line that went down in history as the New Look, when the editor-in-chief of Harper's Bazaar exclaimed, "It's such a new look." It also it was considered to have revived the French fashion industry. Question 6. In 1947, which fashion designer unveiled a new line that went down in history as New Look, when the editor-in-chief of Harper's Bazaar exclaimed, "It's such a new look"? It also revived the French fashion industry. Moving on, question 7. Name the architect of this famous villa. So there it is in larger form. Name the architect of this famous villa. It's a very famous Italian villa, and the design of this would go on to inspire the winning design for the US Capitol building. One of the most famous architects in history designed this villa. Name them. Okay, let's move on to question 8. There. Sometimes I think sitting on trains, every stop I get to, I'm checking that game. Everyone's a winner. We're making our fame. Bonafide hustler making my name. Lyrics from which song? I want the artist and the song name. So sometimes I think sitting on trains, every stop I get to, I'm checking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name. Lyrics from which song? Artist and song name. So that's your question 8. Let's move on. Question 9. Question 9. There we go. In which year did Greece last abolish its monarchy? Is it A, 1918, B, 1939, C, 1945, or D, 1973? So in which year did Greece last abolish its monarchy? 1918, 1939, 1945, or 1973? Question 9. In which year did Greece last abolish its monarchy? A, 1918, B, 1939, C, 1945, or D, 1973? And finally, question 10. Oh, I'm moving me there. Wrong thing. There we go. Name the collective name of the 6 symphonic poems which this, the most famous melody, is taken from. My advice for these is if you tap it out as if you play piano, you can hear it better in your head. Or if you have a piano app on your phones or something, a keyboard app, you can even play it out and hear it. So those are your 10 questions for round 3. Get your answers in by 21:58. And then we'll go through the answers, and Mike will get to marking. And fairly soon we shall see who the winner of Two Fellas Online Lockdown Pub Quiz number 19 is. Okay, click submit now. Click submit now. Get your answers in, and we'll go through the answers for round 3. And then we'll have another short little break just as Mike brings all the answers together and we can see how everybody has done. All right, your answers should be in. I hope you've clicked submit. Mike will lock the answers and we'll move on to the answers themselves, revealing all those answers for the hard round. I said answers far too much then and I'm saying it again. Right, so, I've gone. Where have I gone? There I am. Let's see how we all did on the harder round. Question 1 was, as the crow flies, which is closer to Berlin, Bern in Switzerland, or Stockholm in Sweden? It's Bern, 753 kilometers, as opposed to Stockholm, which is 810 kilometers as the crow flies from Berlin. Question 2. On the 13th of January 1898, the famous letter that Emile Zola sent was J'accuse, ... or rather ellipses, exclamation mark. 3 was the new Netflix film that did concerns itself with the archaeological discovery of the famous Sutton Hoo Anglo-Saxon site. 4, I could not work this out myself. Definitely not how my brain works in maths. But a train sets off at 2 p.m. at the speed of 70 kilometers per hour. Another train sets off at 3:30 p.m. in the same direction at the rate of 85 kilometers per hour. At what time the trains will meet? It's at 10:30 p.m. 5. Hansen's disease is more commonly known as leprosy. The fashion designer that created the new look in 1947 is Christian Dior. 7. The famous architect, perhaps really the father of modern palatial architecture and proportions, is Andrea Palladio. 8. Sometimes I think sitting on trains is the opening lines from Paper Planes by M.I.A. 9. Greece last abolished its monarchy, because it did twice in the 20th century, but it last abolished its monarchy in 1973. Probably went down the whole military dictatorship route shortly after that. And then that melody, the most famous melody from a collection of 6 symphonic poems, is Mavlast, My Fatherland, by Smetana. It is one of the most beautiful pieces of music ever created. The Czech are very, very proud of it, so much so that by the Charles Bridge there is a Smetana museum in Prague. The building itself, hang on, I memorized this earlier. It begins with a C. It's the Villa Capra, also known as La Rotonda, which was begun in 1566. Okay, so now that we've gone through the answers for round 3, Mike will be busying himself away with correlating all of the scores together. Well, marking round 4 first, and then correlating the scores together to discover who is online lockdown pub quiz number 19 champion. Will the House Martins remain on their perch, or will somebody throw a stone of destiny and knock them from it, rising to claim it for themselves? We just have to wait and see. If trends are anything to go by, the House Martins have won the last 3 pub quizzes, but the gap between second and first has been diminishing every week. So will this be the week that somebody else climbs into that top spot? Okay, so the scores are in. Mike is just numbering them up so they're easy for me to read out. So we had 31 teams playing. And they were playing for 20 places. I realize it's going to be quite difficult. I wonder if I can zoom in. That makes things easier. So, in 20th place, struggling just a little on the hard round, with 14 points, is Estrelitas. In 19th place, just ahead of them on 15 points, is Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? Then we have a joint 18th place, both on 17 points. It's watched Netflix twice already, and the Oldham Ruffians. Just ahead of them, in 17th on 19 points, is Ritter der Kokonus. And half a point ahead of them, in 16th, is Udo and the Jürgens. In 15th place, we have 3 teams tied. We have, I'm going to say it the same as I say it every week. We have in 15th place Rollo con Polo, Hexenhunde, and Ersatzschiedsrichtermannschaftsauswahl, my favourite team name to read out every week. Just ahead of them on 21 points is Christina Aguilera. In 13th points, we have 2 teams on 22 points. They're just one but, and the Vogans are here. In 12th place, on 22.5 points, is Two Fellas, One Pub. And ahead of them, we have 2 teams in 11th on 23 points, Die Moiser and Jimmy Buffett Fan Club. Now into the top 10. 2 teams vying for 10th place on 24 points is Not a Cat and King Sperm. In 9th place on 24.5 points, we got Les Sozante Sururis. You know who you are. I can't say it, but you know who you are. And they're joint in 9th place with Horny House Martins and the Jizzers. In 8th place on 26 points, we have Team Steve and significantly less seamen. In 7th place, we have 2 teams again. On 27 points, it's Lynn's Friends and Pandemic at the Disco. In 6th place, both on 29 points, we have Die Ducksche Rotte and A Wild Case of the Runs. Which brings us into the top 5. In 5th place, also joint, are 2 teams on 30 points, is Sorry We're Late for the Cabbage and the Beer. We fell in a frozen lake. I presume that says, yes, a frozen lake. I hope that wasn't you, Marcus. You know, you've had too many injuries already. In 4th place, on 31 points, the Dog's Bollocks. Which brings us to our top 3. And for the first time in a long time, we have just 3 teams vying for the top 3 spaces. In 3rd place, we have Bacon Salad on 32 points. In 2nd place, on 33 points, we have the House Martins, which means stop the fucking count, don't fucking clap, have won this week's pub quiz with 36 points. So well done to Don't Fucking Clap. You have knocked the House Martins off of their perch and become champions for a week. So, thank you to everybody for playing. I hope you've all enjoyed this week's pub quiz, number 19. Join us again next week, where it will be number 20, which means 5 months of online pub quizzing. So, congratulations once again to Don't Fucking Clap. Hopefully next week you can retain your title, or maybe there'll be a new challenger for the top spot. Thank you everybody for playing, and I will see you again next week. Check the online for all of the scores, and also if you want to watch any of the videos that I took the music from for the music round, I'll post the links in the description afterwards so you can come back and see it. So thank you everybody again for playing. We'll see you next week. Have fun.